Welcome back. Let's assess last night's Oscars awards with film critic and podcaster Anna Smith, who's here with us. Morning to you. Main winners included Rami Malek. He won Best Actor for his portrayal of Freddie Mercury and Bohemian Rhapsody, while Best Film went to Green Book, a story about race in 1960s America.
But let's be honest, the night belonged to Olivia Colman, who won Best Actress for her role as Queen Anne in The Favourite.
I used to work as a cleaner and I loved that job. I did spend quite a lot of my time imagining this. Oh, please wrap up. Right, OK. And, thank you. And my husband, Ed, my best friend, I love you so much. 25 years, you've been my best supporter, and he's going to cry. I'm not. And thank you so much. Fox, everybody, the cast, the crew, Francis, Sam, thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Lady Gaga.
And on she went. What a wonderful speech. Anna Smith, film critic, host of Girls on Film podcast. Morning to you. Just brilliant that she won. And it wasn't, she wasn't the favourite, was she?
She wasn't. I thought it was going to be Glenn Close, like almost everyone else did. And it was the biggest sort of sharp intake of breath that I did when she won. But absolutely delightful. I knew it was going to be a great speech. She spent a whole award season just doing really honest and down-to-earth speeches, which proves she's just the same person she was when most of us met her 20 years ago. Just really sweet and lovely.
It is so endearing when you... Is it something about the Brits where they're able to do that and sort of slice slightly through the, that way that some people do their speeches?
I hope so. You do see a lot of English people getting a little bit more slick when they go over to LA and they start living there, but Olivia's still keeping it real, I reckon.
Let's talk about Bohemian Rhapsody, because famously, and I think you were, I've talked to you about it before, the critics were not fond of this film, but it did extremely well, didn't it?
Yeah, I feel like the Academy are voting with their hearts a lot this year. It is a fun film. I certainly thought there were problems with it, but I still came out with a big smile on my face, and I've seen it 3 times and I still really enjoyed it. So you've got to kind of sometimes make that separation between, critical problems and then also just the wow factor and the fun factor. And it was the biggest winner of the night, really, with 4 out of 5.
And very oddly, people may or may not know the backstory, which, of course, for a lot of it, didn't really have a director at all.
That's right. Bryan Singer dropped out. Dexter Fletcher took over as director, and then there were controversies around Bryan Singer. So it's been dogged with problems throughout, really. So it's quite a success story that this film has actually ended up being the big winner of the night, despite all that.
It's something rather nice. Sorry, Lou. I was just going to say it's quite nice. Last night, of course, the remaining band members were there, weren't they? And playing live and doing the whole thing.
That's right, and I think that was a nice way to start off the ceremony, which had no host, which was a bit of a weird one and people wondering how it was going to go, but it was a nice opener and great to see Queen on stage.
I think are we going to hear from Dexter Fletcher or... in a second. This is the performance on stage. We heard from Dexter Fletcher, who you mentioned was parachuted in at the last minute. Have we got that? Never mind. If we haven't, it doesn't matter. Let's also talk about Roma as well, because that won 3, which is fantastic and an unusual addition to the whole award ceremony.
Very much so. It's a Netflix film. It's a black and white foreign language film, and it's not the kind of thing that normally gets even nominated in the Best Picture category. But it walked away with 3. Very respectable, very well-loved film of the night. And I watched it again the other day, and I still found it incredibly powerful. It does demand a lot of patience, but the level of detail in that film is extraordinary. It really is very moving.
Do you think that will shake up how films are made or how they're released? What happened with Roma?
I think so, up to a point, because Netflix really put a lot of money behind this promotion and it succeeded up to a point. But the fact that some of the Oscar votes pushed back when it came to Best Picture and it didn't win Best Picture, I think maybe has slowed that progress down a little bit.
Talk to us a little bit about Star is Born, because there's another film that a lot of people loved, critics maybe not so keen on, but the Bradley Cooper Lady Gaga thing, I mean, they played live as well, didn't they, at the event?
They were tremendous live. I mean, and people were talking about their chemistry, but of course they're both great actors and they really brought that on stage, I thought. But Star is Born was an early front runner, which I, among many other people, thought was going to do better than it actually did. But of course it got Best Original Song, which it deserved to, because that just stays in your head. It's amazing.
And we can see them doing the performance last night, and you can imagine the audience, they would really love that.
Yes, absolutely. You could see on Twitter people were really going gaga for it, literally. And yeah, it was powerful stuff, and I think they worked really well together, so I'm glad they had their moment.
And just briefly, there's been so much talk in the run-up to this in the last few years about the Oscars needing to be more diverse. Do you think you're seeing that happen?
We did see some results, like 3 out of the 4 main acting categories went to actors of colour, which is progress, and also in a lot of the other categories we had 2 women winning for Black Panther, for costume design and production design, which is record-breaking stuff, so it's exciting.
Oh, very good. Thank you very much. As podcast
Thanks,
is called Girls on Film. It's Wednesday. It'll be recorded in front of an audience at the Home Arts Centre in Manchester.
Good luck with that. That is all from us today. We'll be back tomorrow from 6 on BBC One.